So I just wanted to make a video, actually a sound video, no photo. It's been on my heart to. I know there's people out there hurting. There's people that need to hear good things, good positive things. So, my question to you is, what makes you happy? Are you happy? Are you happy with your life? Are you happy with where you are in your life? Is there something that you want to do in your life or something that you've been wanting to do that you haven't done yet? We all have dreams and we have passions and we have desires, things that we want to do with our life. And we never follow through with those things, or we let those dreams or those passions or those goals die. If you really look down at if you look at your life, a lot of times when I talk to God, I look up at the sky and I look at my situation, and this is what motivates me, because I say to God, or I ask God, there's got to be a better way. There has to be another way, a better way than where I am in my life. We always tend to, as human beings, we are creatures of habit, and a lot of times we accept our surroundings and our circumstances. Other people would look at that and say, "Oh, you should be happy with where you are and happy with what you have." And I'm not saying not to be. But what about the parts of your life that you're unhappy with? What about the situations in your life that you're unhappy with, that you can control, that you can change? I remember when I was younger, I was working at a job one time, and I was working as a laborer. It was a job that I knew I wasn't going to be at long because I hated that type of work. But I was digging an 8-foot hole on the side of a foundation of a home. We were trying to get to the bottom to a pipe that needed to be repaired. And I'm digging this hole by myself with a shovel for hours. In fact, I think it took me the whole day to dig this hole. Or 8 hours, I guess it took. But as I'm doing this, I'm thinking in my mind, man, there has to be a better way to make a living. There has to be something better out there for me. And I said, this isn't it. So my question to you is, have you ever asked that question? Have you ever looked at your life, the situation in your life, people, places, things, and said to yourself, is there something better for me? And there is. There is. If you look at successful people, and when I use the word success, it doesn't always have to do with money. Money isn't, if you could have all the money in the world, but if you don't have your health, if you don't have love or friendships or relationships, to me, you're not wealthy. To me, it's a waste. So wealth comes in different forms. It's not just about money. Success is not just about money. To me, the ultimate success is being happy. So again, are you happy? If you look at your life, if you evaluate your life and look at where you are you truly happy? And I guarantee you that 80% of people that are listening to this message would say, I'm not happy. I'm not happy where I am in my life. So the next question is, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to sit around and wait and procrastinate and put it on hold, pause? Or are you going to look at that situation, whatever it is that you want to do in your life, and are you going to get started on it, whatever it is? Some of you might want to go back to school and finish, get a degree or finish a degree. Some of you have been contemplating changing positions at your job or changing jobs. Some of you may have been contemplating making a moving from one place to another. Some of you are in relationships that you shouldn't be in, which I've spoken about before. And you shouldn't be in that relationship, but because you're comfortable, you stay. We are creatures of habit. We're creatures of habit, and we become comfortable in the situations that we're in. Basically, we settle for less. But are you truly happy settling for less? Or can you have more? You can have more. I believe you can have more. You know, you have a choice. We always have a choice of certain things that we can control in our life. And what we do is we put them things on hold, or we pause those things, maybe because of our own fear or the fear of other people around us, or we allow other people to talk us out of our dreams. We call them dream killers. But again, my question to you is, are you happy with where you are? And if your answer is no, my next question is, what do you plan to do about it? Life is short, that's a fact. We're all going to die. We don't know when that's going to happen. So every second of every day, you have an opportunity to make a change, to make better decisions in your life, to bring that happiness into your life, because it does exist. You know, I have a passion, and I have a dream, and I have a goal, which I'll share, and I've shared on other videos, and that is to help people, to motivate and inspire people. Because to me, I get fulfillment out of helping someone else. If I can push someone else along and they can achieve that dream, that goal, their destination, whatever it is that they are looking to achieve in their life, that brings me happiness. So what brings you happiness? And why aren't you doing it? There's a lot to learn in life. You know, some people go through life nonchalantly and they just go and they live their life, and that's great. But is that for you? Or do you want more? Do you want better? Because for me, one of the purposes of life is to progress and grow and become better people. What is it that you want to do with your life? What is it that you want to do with yourself? What is your goal? What is your plan? Granted, there's going to be obstacles in the way. There's going to be challenges along the way. But those challenges are there, A, to strengthen you, and B, when you overcome those challenges and those obstacles, when you finally reach that destination, you're going to look back and say it was well worth the trip. You know, I always make a comparison. Imagine if they just gave every kid, never teach the kid how to drive a car, and they give that child their driver's license. They're going to take it for granted. They're going to make a lot of mistakes. They're not going to appreciate that driver's license. They're not going to. When people have things handed to them, things are not appreciated. But when you have challenges in front of you, you know, it's like running a race. In order for you to get to that finish line, if you're running in a race, you have to run hard and faster than anyone else. Because you know that on the other side of that finish line is a prize, is a goal that you want to reach. But you have to endure the pain of running that race in order for you to achieve that goal. And when you get there, it's much appreciated. Or like people who win the lottery. You win all this money, and you know, it's a statistical fact that most people within 2 to 4 years are broke because it's handed to them. They don't know how to manage it. They don't know how to handle it. But when you work for your money and you get your paycheck, you appreciate that because you did something for it. You put time in for it. Well, it's the same thing with our life when we have obstacles and when we have roadblocks in our way, or bumps, or detours. The question is, are you going to allow those detours, those roadblocks, stop you from reaching your goal? Are you going to quit, give up? Or are you going to press on and move forward and go after that goal that you need to go after, that you know that you've been wanting all of your life. What are you waiting for? 80% of the people that listen to this video are unhappy. They're unhappy with their life and where they are and what they could have done differently. I don't care what your age is, if you're in your late teens, early 20s, or if you're even in your 40s, 50s, or 60s. It's never too late to start living your life and doing the things that you want to do that you know are going to bring you the happiness that you're looking for. If you ever heard of an author and motivational speaker called Louise Hay, if you ever read her story, her name again is Louise Hay. She has a book out called You Can Do It. And one of the things that she talks about, if you read the story about her life and what she has been through, she's been through hell and back. And when she was 40 years old, that's when she actually started living her life. Today, I believe she's in her 80s now, mid-80s possibly. I know she's still alive. She's lived a phenomenal life. She went to dancing school, she learned how to paint, and she did all this after the age of 40. Everything that she wanted to do in her life, she did past the age of 40. So what I'm telling you is it's not too late for you, it's not too late for me. Don't be a creature of habit. Don't settle for less in your life, because you can have better. If you really truly want it, you can have it. You just have to go out and you have to get it. Don't let nothing stop you. Don't let nobody stop you. Don't let fear stop you. Because fear is false. Fear is fake. Fear doesn't even exist. It's something that we either create in our mind, or we learn from others. But it doesn't exist, because the only type of fear that exists, of course, is, let's say, you're at the zoo and a tiger gets out of its cage. You're going to be fearful for your life. That's a legitimate, genuine fear. Or you're walking down the street and somebody comes out and pulls a knife out on you to rob you. That's a legitimate fear. I'm not talking about that type of fear. I'm talking about the fear that we have of the unknown, meaning, the fear of, well, what if I do this and this happens, or what if I do that and that happens? That's called presumed fear. That's fear that doesn't even exist. It's not even real. It's fear that is in the future, that, in other words, it's not happening right at the moment, like that tiger, that got out of the cage and is now in front of you. That's legitimate fear because it's existing, it's happening. But I'm talking about fear. We tend to allow fear, presumed fear or assumed fear, stop us. Well, I'm afraid I'm not going to make it. I'm afraid I'm going to get hurt. I'm afraid I'm going to fail. I'm afraid people are going to judge me. I'm afraid people are going to laugh at me. I'm afraid people aren't going to support me. That's the fear I'm talking about. But all of that fear doesn't exist because you have no idea, because you haven't did it yet. In other words, you haven't went out and went after that goal, whatever that goal is in your life. You haven't did it yet. So how do you know what fear exists? Only presumed fear exists. It's fake. It's not real. So if something isn't real, why should we allow something that we presume or we assume stop us from going after our goals? There's so much to talk about, in these video segments that I do. One thing I will tell you is in a few weeks, this is one of my goals I'll share with you. I want to motivate people. I want to speak in front of people in person. I'm not going to charge people any money. It's going to be free. It's a free, motivational seminar. You come, you sit, you listen, and you leave. It is something I always wanted to do in my life, and I had a huge fear of speaking in front of people, a presumed fear, an assumed fear that people would laugh at me, they would mock me, they would heckle me, they would, talk about me. But that's all. It's all fake because it hasn't happened, and it probably won't happen. So my choice is to not allow fear to stop me. I'm going to do it. You never know until you try. You never know. You got to make changes in your life. You have goals in front of you. You need to go after those goals. But I encourage you to keep listening to my recordings, and eventually I'll be doing some live presentations for people. You know, you bring your family, your friends, you bring people with you, people that might need to hear a good message. You know, I talk about God. I always bring God up because God is number one. He gets all the glory. He gets everything. Keep your eyes and ears open. I'm sorry, for upcoming events. I'll be posting them for you. Don't allow fear to stop you, and ask yourself the question: are you truly happy? God bless you. I love you, and I hope that this video has helped you. And if it has, feel free to pass it on. It's free. Knowledge is free. Take care.